Well, welcome back, everyone, to Hidden Treasure. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Brad, and today we're going to be talking about expectations, specific.
Unrealistic
That's right,
expectations.
unrealistic expectations.
Which that's well, this is like grabbing a tiger by the tail.
There you go. There you go.
So, what do we mean by that, Brad? What do you mean when you say unrealistic expectations?
Yeah, so Jimmy and I, we talked about on a previous podcast about taking things personal, and this right here is really kind of a piggyback on that topic. But when we set expectations of certain things that we want from people or from situations, especially things that we can't control, we are taking things very personally, and we've kind of already set ourselves up for creating a conflict with
Mm-hmm.
with others or things out of our control.
Right. And you know, we don't even realize what we're doing. I mean, I didn't sit and realize this for most of my life. It can be anything. It can be family members, like many of us think just because they're our family, they should have our backs.
Right.
And that's not always the case.
It's not. In fact, my whole life I was telling Jimmy, a lot of shows. When I say shows, whether it be TV or movies, you always hear blood is thicker than water, right? Family's important, and family's got your back, and to a large extent that's true. But our expectations about the way family members should treat us and how they should accept us and respect us, our expectations are a little flawed.
Yeah, they can be. And the problem with having expectations, especially unrealistic ones, is because it's based on behavior of other people.
Right.
We expect people to be nicer, to be more thoughtful, to be kinder, to show respect, especially family,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't always do that.
That's true.
And then when it happens and they let us down, how does that affect us?
Oh yeah, I mean we get hurt. Our feelings get hurt.
Feelings get hurt.
I mean, especially with family, sometimes you see that conflict. It evolves pretty quickly, right? Because the expectations are off the chart. But when you expect things from people, we're all human, right? We're all full of thoughts, feelings, emotions. We're flawed. We're not perfect. Um, but but sometimes people say or do things and we don't approve or we don't agree with them, and so in
Mm-hmm.
our minds, that causes some pain.
We
It
feel
can
let down,
feel let down. Yeah.
and that we've been done wrong, and that's why we're calling it unrealistic expectations. In this world, you can it's okay to have expectations, but not unrealistic ones, and that because here and what we mean by that really to help you understand this is that when people the way they act, we don't have any control over that, do we?
That's right. So when you're trying to control something you can't control, you're going to be disappointed. So all you can do is love and accept people, which, if the expectations are unrealistic, it's kind of hard to do that because in your mind you're already thinking this is going to be the outcome, and the outcome doesn't happen. Well, then you're taking things personal.
Right. And I can give you a quick example. It's always good to have examples. And I had a boss I didn't couldn't stand. I had a high expectation for him, but he didn't act the way I thought he should act, and I didn't like him. And then I had my experience on the mountain. I came off the mountain. And I decided, you know what? He's not the problem. It's me and my expectations of him and what I expect. And so I said, I'm going to accept him the way he is. He's just fine.
Right.
Man, after that, he and I got along so good, it was unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
It showed me it wasn't him, it was me and my expectations, which were unrealistic.
Right.
Because I wanted him to change and be like I wanted him to be.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, you set yourself up for suffering when you do that, because there's no telling how many times I cussed, fussed, and went on about this boss,
Right.
And it turns out he wasn't the problem. It was my unrealistic expectations.
And this even has to do with, we talk about family, but your children,
Mm-hmm.
our kids are all different. They're individual selves. They're individual
Right.
people. They're growing. They've got challenges in their life, and Sometimes our expectations, even for our kids, are just way too high or off the mark. And love them for who they are, and be there to support them and encourage them, and that right there will go a long way.
Hmm.
Siblings can have some crazy expectations as well.
Yes, they can. And so, and again, this is back to the hidden treasure. We'll tie this in is that there's a peace, joy, love, and light within us that doesn't have unrealistic expectations. It's more of our human ego nature that comes up with this.
Well, and I was telling Jimmy, so we talk about relationships, but what about other things going on in the world? What about sporting events? All
Mm-hmm.
right, people have expectations. You can either be, on cloud nine, or you just want to bury your head in the sand, right? Whenever your team doesn't do well, setting expectations, knowing that somebody's going to have to win, right? So you just kind of prepare yourself. Hey, I'm not going to go down that road and take things personally.
Right.
Um, how about politics, elections? I mean, here recently, and maybe it's just news where you hear people going off the deep end when their
Mm-hmm.
candidate doesn't win, or if they do win, and people go crazy about that. Look here, the expectation is um, there's no one person
Mm-hmm.
in politics that's going to make that big of a difference. The At least in the country we live in, it's all kind of built to keep everything um, stable, right?
Right. But also just every day, like driving into traffic. It's almost like we expect people to drive normal, but
Right,
they don't. And then
right.
we get all upset when they do something, and
So some good advice is expect the unexpected.
mm-hmm.
Try not to take things personal. Try not to
Let
try,
it
try,
bother you.
try not to let something hurt your feelings, or as Jimmy mentioned earlier, steal your joy.
Mm-hmm. Because it steals your joy.
Right.
We're actually giving. That's what I've learned is I give my joy away every time I get upset about something because I didn't. I had an unrealistic expectation. But hey, just ask yourself this: when you get upset because of an expectation that's not met, and it bothers you, and like I said, we get upset and we become agitated and frustrated. Is that positive or negative? Is our thinking
It's um it's always negative.
always? And so, but what if we, instead of having this unrealistic expectation, just go ahead and accept them the way they are and say, well, they're just different than me, and they see it one way and I see it another, and that's okay. And I'm not going to let it bother me. Are you feeling negative or positive?
Right. And the only way it can bother you is if you
Let it.
let it.
So hopefully that helps. And again, it takes practice, a lot of practice, everyday practice, and everything we're talking about you can apply in your everyday life. You don't have to take any extra time to study this and do anything. You just take what you're hearing and apply it to your life.
That's right. It's like getting up in the morning, flipping that switch, and turning your awareness on, and just realizing that you can control you, right? You can control what you put out,
Mm-hmm.
what you react to, and if it's positive things, then you're going to be a lot happier.
A lot happier. And I would like to introduce this too. I've mentioned this to you before. Is it's pretty normal for us to take things personally and let things bother us. It's just kind of the way we're wired with our human nature.
Hmm.
it's just personal. But instead of being normal, work on being abnormal. It's abnormal to let it go. It's abnormal to find something good about it instead of something negative. So just try to live more in an abnormal way. That's the way I focus on. I say, Jimmy, just be abnormal, not normal, because my normal self is going to take it personally. My abnormal self says, nah, let it go.
Well, if enough people do that, there's going to be less conflict in the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then there's going to be a lot more harmony, love, acceptance, peace, and that's really what we want. And
Yep, and that bottom line from what Brad's saying here just made me popped in my head listening to him was that we're all in this together. It doesn't matter if different nationalities, different genders, different whatever. We all were created by the one creator. There's only one, and we all have the same source we started from. So why are we so wigged out at each other? I mean, it's time to just lighten up.
And try not to take things personal. And I think you'll see a difference. So, if
Practice
yeah,
it.
practice it daily, become aware,
Yeah.
mindful of it. If you will, hit like, subscribe, and comment below. We'd love to hear what you have to say about expectations.
There you go. Well said. And thank you for tuning in. And we hope this has been helpful for you.
Yeah. Until next time, we'll see you later.